a really nice Rover P6, a TC. And an Escort on a trailer behind it. That's a perfect setup, isn't it? I really like that. There's another one I didn't see coming in, a Humber Hawk TBY 214. This looks like a really original car. Well, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel, and we've got an evening classic car meet coming up. Well, it's not just classic cars, it's an anything goes car meeting. It's organised by the Whitchurch Motor Club. They've been doing it for quite a few years now, and there's usually an excellent turnout, especially when it's a lovely day like this, a lovely evening as it's set to be. So we're going to grab a quick bite to eat, and the Standard is going to take us over there, and hopefully it'll be a jolly nice time. We'll video some of the arrivals and then have a walk around the cars that are already parked up, and it should all be jolly nice. We're all going. I'm not quite sure that her indoors has actually been in this one before. She always is a bit concerned about the sort of smell of fumes and things, so it'll be interesting to see how the Standard is rated on the fume front. The Anglia is a little bit fumey when you drive along in that, but this one should be a little bit better, all being well, fingers crossed, etc, etc. So, grab a bite to eat and then we're going to set off. Well, we've made it to the field. We've got a 64 E-Type and a couple of lovely Mark 1 Escorts. And what's this A35 here? A race prepared A35 no less. Apologies for the wind noise, it's really, really windy. This is a mixture of cars that turn up at this meet. It's not just classic cars, it's anything goes. So you've got replicas like this AC Cobra. You've got slightly cosmetically challenged classic cars like this little black one here. Moderns. This glorious Rover P3 Sports Saloon. Austin 10.4 Tourer. Beauty. We've got some slightly more modern machines here. The Mark 1 Golf.
No, still on.
Austin 7 Ruby over here. Wonderful. Austin Taxi. What a beautiful Ruby that is. The paint finish is just incredible. Next to that, an equally immaculate Morris Traveller. We've got an Isetta Three-Wheeler here. Let's have a closer look at this old taxi. Fantastic, isn't it? London General Cab Company Limited. Fantastic. So let's have a look. CLB 572. Now, if I consult my handy little I Spy book of car numbers, which I just happen to have in my pocket here, try and get out the wind a bit. Right. So we need to have a look for CLB. So if I have a flick through here, we shall see, look for LB. LB, Greater London. No real surprises there because this is a London taxi. But this is quite a handy little book if you're walking around the show and you want to know where a car came from. Licensed to seat 4 persons.
Who would dream of going down to the south of France instead of TK? It's no different, is it?
She's never had a kebab. Said she's never lived, has she, unless she's had kebab fat running down her elbow.
I'll take McDonald's.
Tribe GT6 Mark 3 no less. Very nice straight 6 2-litre. Renault 18 Turbo, no less. By gum, I don't see those too often. Tribe Tr6 is always a good TR contingent here. Let's just nip over here. We've got a Mark II Fiesta XR2 and an X-Reg Mini. Like I say, this is the Anything Goes car show. Evening. So it's cars interesting, old and new. Of course, we'll be focusing on the older cars. But yeah, this is the Whitchurch Motor Club Anything Goes show. There's a gorgeous Mark II Mini Cooper. Another Mini, a midget. We'll buy a Ford GT40. You don't want any speed humps around with this. There's a huge Escort contingent expected this evening. Really nice Mark II Escort 2-door saloon there on the RS alloys. An RS 2000 here. And Escorts as far as the eye can see almost. Escort 1600 Sport, RS 2000. Some of the cars that are parking up are members of the public, so they get diverted off to the right, and anyone exhibiting goes off to the left. It's a really nice Rover P6, a TC. So what's this then? Is it a Quantum or a Midas or it's a Midas? There's a great setup here. We've got a Mark II Ford Transit, Ford Motorsport liveried, and an Escort on a trailer behind it. Oh, that's a perfect setup, isn't it? I really like that. Thought I could hear a B series. A Rover Metro. Behind the Polo, another lineup of classic Ford Escorts. The GM offering. Vauxhall Viva HC. We've got a Clan Crusader 1971. These are based on the Hillman Imp rear engine. You don't see these too often. The Morris Marina TC twin carburettor. A very rare sight indeed. We've got a Lotus Elan Plus 2. By the way, thanks to the people I spoke to from the Whitchurch Motor Club for okaying me to video this in a gorgeous vintage Rolls Royce. Very smart E39 5 Series. That's followed by Series 1 Land Rover. And a wartime Jeep. Plenty of cars pouring in. Certainly sounds nice, that Mark II. It's an Austin 7 Ruby. What a Bobby Dazzler that is. So what's that, about 1936, 37, something like that? That's what's so great about this meeting. It's all very informal, just an evening meet for a few hours. There's a band and so on. And when the weather's nice, you get all sorts of really nice cars and other vehicles turning up. Somewhat modified Pop. Glorious XK140. Lovely burble of its straight 6 XK engine. Left-hand drive imported TR6 all the way from Florida, judging by the plates. A lovely Chevrolet. It's very cool. Mgb. An E28 5 Series BMW. .306 has a couple of those been in. I think we may have seen this one before. FL6 Volvo with a Ford 4000 tractor on the back. Bedford Rascal van. How neat is that? Staffordshire registration on that one. VDP 1300. I think it's a manual one by the sound of it, I think. If it's manual, it's got the twin carburetted 1275A series. If it's auto, it just has a single carb. Mgb Roadster on a private plate. '64 Mini. Lovely pre-war Vauxhall, flying the flag for some of the pre-war cars that are here. There's quite a few actually. So mainly I'll be focusing on the older cars as befits the old classic car channel, but there are some fascinating things here, old and new. Apologies if I miss out anyone's pride and joy, but it's just not possible to cover every single vehicle that's here this evening. I mean, there's such a variety of cars here, it's incredible really. That's what makes it such an interesting do. Talking of variety, don't want to knock the sign down. Look at this fantastic Foden cement mixer. Wow, look at that, cement marketing company. That's on an F reg. So what's the registration? ULU. So if I have a look in my little book for LU, just while that's coming past, I'll have a look in my little book. LU, Greater London again. Handy little book, this one. I'm not quite sure what's in the back of this VW, but it doesn't sound very standard. Looks a bit wider than the normal VW as well. The field is filling up nicely now. Just saw a really nice little pickup truck drive past on the main road, so I'm hoping that'll loop round and join this queue of cars coming in. A much modified Ford Pot. We saw this one at the Combermere meet. Methinks V8. It's this incredible Ford Transit here. Coming in from the other direction, we appear to have a Jaguar C-Type Replica, no less. Let's go and have a quick look at that. Motorcycle engined, well, Ford Orion, the booted version of the Escort, no less. There's that C-type rep. Great little 205 GTI, a Quattro. Probably the biggest thing so far. But what do I spy over there? Is that a three-wheel Morgan?
Going straight up, we're running short of space, so if you don't mind parking in the parking spot, back to the right. All the trucks are coming the wrong way now.
There appear to be an awful lot of trucks coming in. It's getting pretty full. Well, saying that, there's still some room on the back row, but a few lorries soon take up space.
Back to the right, please. Parking. Back to the right, please.
A few Triumphs turning up now. There's a 1500. What's this one here? Is this a 1300? There's a Dolomite 1300, yeah. There's a Triumph Spitfire over there. Very smart BMW 3 Series, an E30 convertible. MGT, I'm not quite sure. NX is a Warwickshire registration. It doesn't give the years that the registration series was ran for, whereas if you go on the old Classic Car website you will find the year ranges that most registrations ran for, but at least that gives you a bit of a clue as to where the car started its life. Very useful. It's a rare Peugeot 405 MI16, a 16 valve version. That was quite a rarity back in the day. That's pretty cool. Vauxhall Viva HB. That doesn't sound normal. He thinks there's a V8 hiding there. There's a really groovy old Ford truck here. I've seen this quite a few times, especially at Crewe Heritage Centre. This is a regular there. A very, very low Mark 1 Golf GTI behind that. Wow. Big old Plymouth. I think I can hear Fruity Fords. There we go, a Mark II Escort. The Fruity Chevette. That's pretty cool. Is that an HS or an HSR? That Opel Ascona's a pretty neat looking car. I like that. Series 1 Jaguar E-Type fixed head coupe. Oof, that's a 2+2. What a bit of kit that is.
Never cooked the box too much this week, Angry Sea.
Is this a Sebring Sprite? I think it's getting a bit warm in this traffic, I think. The smell of Castrol R wafts across the breeze. A Mercedes-Benz SL, just perfect for an evening like this in the countryside. Very swish. just going to have a scoot round the show now and just have a look at some of the more interesting cars and also try and photograph everything as well. This is that really wild looking Europa that came in before. I have no idea what's going on here, but it certainly looks purposeful. As does this gorgeous vintage Morgan. We've seen this one once or twice before. I think the last time I saw this was at the Combermere breakfast meeting. Certainly a giggle, and it's driven with some gusto, I think, if it's the car I'm thinking of. Certainly filling up now. The field is almost full, I think. Well, the bonnet of that racer prepared Austin E35 is up. Let's have a quick peek. So it's fairly standard under here, actually, isn't it? At least at first impressions anyway. Just got a single big SU on it. Bit of everything going on here. The master cylinders are mounted up on the bulkhead. Normally the brake master cylinder is tucked away under the floor.
What is it called?
Yeah, just going to have a bit of a mooch around now and just see what we didn't see coming in. Fortunately I managed to capture most things as they drove in. Good. GT6, oh there we go. Harley's car of the show, I imagine.
No, the C-Type.
Oh, the C-Type Replica's your car of the show, is it?
Yeah, but this is also very good.
It is, isn't it? Shadows. Matthewson's. There's that Renault Turbo.
It's a weird thing.
It's a really rare car, that is. Yeah, bonkers, aren't they?
That must be rare.
It is. It is super rare. In the early 1980s, sort of turbocharging was becoming a bit of a thing, and sort of regular saloons were being breathed on. The turbo bolted on, and off you go. No, you probably won't. There's very few of them around. We've seen a few 21 turbos, haven't we?
Yeah.
The crew heritage meet.
Shape at the back. It's like a bit Saaby at the back. You know the Saab Salute, the way. Yeah, it's a bit.
There's a very groovy looking Mark 1 Escort. I'm not sure if I saw this one driving in before, but it looks like it's on reverse rim wheels. I think they're even wide on the Lotus Cortina wheels. Well, that's a very groovy looking car. Still with a Ford glass in the back here.
You always notice things like that.
Details boy. 1300 Super. But the question is, does it still have a 1300cc engine under its bonnet? I'm not entirely sure. There's that left-hand drive Florida, ex-Florida 1974 Tribe Tr6, and it's still got the huge rubber overriders that they had to fit on for the American safety regs. I think it's got them on the front as well. Yeah, that's really neat to see those still on, because most people take them off. It's a huge meeting. Split windscreen, Series 2, early Series 2 still with a cheese grater grille. Very bonny car. A Chevy alongside that. There's that VDP that we saw driving in earlier on. So it's a Mark 1, yeah, 1275, original condition. Used up until December 2018 for day-to-day use by the previous owner. Registered November 1967 in Northern Ireland. So is it a manual or is it an auto? It's a manual. Looks really original paint and coach lines on it. This was the upmarket version of the ADO 16 range. I had the Austins and the Morrises, the Wolseley, there was the Riley Kestrel version, the 1300 GT, there was the Estates, there were 2-door saloons, 4-door saloons. It was incredibly flexible design, really. They put it to so many different uses and shapes and sizes. Best selling car for 8 years during the 1960s. There's that XK140 we saw driving them before, complete with many flies. They met their end on the front of this curvaceous Jaguar. Guess if you got to go, that's the way to go. It looks like it's been used for a bit of high-speed touring in recent times. Fantastic. Maybe it's been down to the Le Mans Classic possibly, which was only a week or two back. Many cars everywhere you look. There are cars. Another one flying the flag for pre-war motoring is this lovely little Austin 7 Ruby. It's for sale as well, ladies and gentlemen, so if you fancy a slice of pre-war Austin of Longbridge, here you go. 162 UXF, so it's lost its original reg at some point in the past. Various reasons that could have happened. Yeah, great little introduction to a pre-war motor in that one.
You've got a turbo.
I can just see an Austin 7 van pulling in. This was here last year, but let's go and have a look anyway. And that pickup that I mentioned earlier on, I could see it drive past in the distance. It must have come in through a different way because it's just been pointed out to me over in the distance on the back row. So we'll have a quick look at this Austin first because that's just such a bobby dazzler.
What is it? It's unreal. Look at the adjustable. Look like a gear adjustment.
That's really neat. Now, where's that other little pickup truck? Where's that gone? I saw it somewhere over the back, so we'll wander over that way. I'm just going to see if we can see it before it gets a bit too dark. There's a few clouds coming over, so it's just getting a little bit dark for photos. Along past the Morris Minor Traveller, an Mgb GT, big Healy, the Austin Healy 3000, XR2, there's that souped up pop, oh it's an E83W, good heavens, SXC 590. Wow, yeah, I saw it from a distance, but I didn't think it had actually come in. It must have come in through a different entry. But wow, anyone who knows me through the old classic car website will know I'm a bit of a fan of these. I've done a couple of videos about the van that we've got at home, but I've had a few pickups over the years, since 1989 when I bought my first one. That's really bonny, isn't it? It's got like an extended cab on it, which maybe it was a cut down van possibly, who knows. Many of the vans were cut down either through accident damage at the back or just rot. So rather than try and repair the complex, yeah, it's fairly fiddly to repair a van body properly. So a lot of people after 10-15 years or so, they would just cut them down and make them into a little pickup. This has got the proper pickup wheels on it, the 16-inch rims. Oh, that's very neat. You've got the Thames badge there on the grille. Up until the early 50s they were Fordson vans and pickups, and then they went to being rebadged as Thames instead. Although this has got the earlier front wings without the beaded edge. Yeah, it's a very bonny little truck.
Keep seeing someone we know.
Like I say, if you like these little commercials, have a look around the rest of the channel because there are quite a few videos on the little side valve Fords and other little commercial vans, pickups and so on. There's a huge turnout of kit cars here and replicas and so on, various 7-based cars, not quite sure what that is. Got the Ultima that we've seen once or twice before, and lots of 7s along here. Oof. And everyone's slightly different. I'd have to have a shufty at that Transit that came in before. I don't know what's going on with this, but this is just incredible. This one's got like, not quite military tyres, but they're certainly pretty knobbly. I wonder if it was used back in the day by Triple-X. Obviously they've got all the logos on the side.
assuming we can get back in 15 minutes. That's nice. I like that car.
Here's that C-type replica we saw coming in before. That's a very convincing looking car as well. Of course, it was the forerunner of the D-type, very popular at Le Mans, successful at Le Mans. Well, there's those two Triumphs that came in before. Bit of information in the window of this 1500 MDM 59L 1493cc front wheel drive. Of course, yeah, the Dolomite was rear wheel drive and these were front wheel drive. First registered 1972.
Oh God, we've got the green cars here.
What does this one say then? This is a Dolly 1980, so it's quite a late one. Very neat. Another Spitfire. There's that MG you saw coming in before. Glorious little car that is. TR6 on Wolf races. Wow. It's a very 70s modification bolting on a set of Wolfies. There we go. Very neat. And there's that Viva HP. Wow. Lots of sort of in period modifications, the sort of thing you would have put on, like I say, in Car and Car Conversions and Hot Car magazine. In the readers' letters page, this is the sort of car that people would send in photos of. They'd have one of these. They'd be getting on a bit by the 1970s, you know, by sort of mid 1970s, and you'd bull them up, make them look a bit more special with some period Lucas lamps, some alley cat ollie wheels. That's quite a rare survivor. As is this Vauxhall. It says automatic. Don't think it is. Really tidy Mark 1 Golf GCI with a fancy paint job. Look at that. Many lorries. Right. So I captured most of these cars as they came in, so I'll try not to duplicate things too much, but we'll just have a quick look at some of the more interesting cars that came in, including this Sprite. So is this a Sebring Sprite or a Speedwell? I'm not quite sure. Certainly quite compact inside. Let's have a look. Very neat little car. The Keep GTS. We saw those practicing at Alton Park not that long ago, earlier this year. I don't remember this car there. And next to that is a glorious Series 1 E-Type. That's the 2+2. You can tell that by the higher roof line compared to the fixed head coupe and longer roof line as well. And it has this chrome trim along the top of the door, and that's the differentiator, so you can tell the 2+2 and the fixed head coupe apart. Arguably a lot more practical car than the fixed head coupe, which is a bit of a tight fit for some people, but the higher roof line sort of divides opinion a little bit. But it's a glorious looking car, and you can just see the carburetors poking through the louvers there. Stag, Astra.
Take of a job.
There's that Ford, I think it's got a Transit diesel engine in that one, if I remember right. Some old Peugeots. This is that 405 MI16. It's a long time since I last saw one of those. Such a rare car that is. There's that mighty Plymouth station wagon that came in before. What a handy car that is. And if you run out of space in there, which is unlikely, you can always put stuff on the roof rack. Magnificent car. Such a rare sight in this country. I like all these stickers as well.
It is, yeah.
It's fine. If I'd come here, I would have said, there you go, if you go like that, it's great. Yeah.
Hiding away over here behind a rally prepared 205 and a Nissan Micra is this SS. Got a gaggle of badges on the front of this one.
Yeah, the Common Club thing. We'll take it, suit you.
This is very similar to the car that Harley and I saw at Alton Park the other day. It's not this car. The other one was a later build, sort of a recreation of an SS100. I'm not quite sure what this is. I don't know them well enough, unfortunately, to say if this is the real McCoy or a fantastic recreation of the same car. I really don't know, but I do know it looks stunning. There's another one I didn't see coming in, a Humber Hawk TBY 214. This looks like a really original car. That paint looks very original, really faded. I bet there's a shine hiding away there somewhere.
Corsair, wasn't it? Union Jack underneath.
I've always liked these.
Jubilee year.
Yeah. Famous. Left a tyre mark on the side of the house.
Even just peeking my head through the window there, the smell is so evocative of a 1950s car. Lovely radio as well, I like that. It's a proper survivor car, that is. Proper old number plates as well. We approve of those. And look at this. I certainly didn't see this one sneaking in before. Mark II Escort van. Proper barn find.
Oh, you vintage as well, are you?
Wow. That's not seen a sponge in a few years. This side's a little bit cleaner. This is the concourse side. Mark II Escort van. Oh, I've seen worse. Complete with CB radio aerial. How cool is that? Well, I'm guessing it started out life as a pop or something like that. UK Vintage Oval Racing. There you go. If you've got a little body shell lying around, you could build one of these. Good heavens. So what's hiding under this bonnet then? 100E engine. You see there, it's the beginning of the part number there for 100E. So that's a 4-cylinder side valve out of the 100E Pop Saloon, which is also 1172, same as the Ford 103E Pop, the sit-up and beg pop. But there were a few differences with the 100E engine, even though it was the same CC. They had a built-in water pump, things like that. Adjustable valves, proper adjustable valves. So those were just a couple of the improvements that Ford brought in with the 100E. And that is the engine that powers this intriguing oval racing car. Next to this great little Bedford Rascal and the VDP 1300. Well, the sun's getting lower in the sky now. There's still quite a lot of people here. 1 or 2 cars have left, but 1 or 2 are also arriving still. Got a Mark II Lotus Cortina, or Cortina Lotus as it should be called. think the Mark IIs were Cortina Lotuses, and the Mark Is were Lotus Cortinas. Yeah, there's a few gaps in the field now, but it'll be a long time before this event fully winds down. The bar is there should be some live music going on. So I'll just have a quick scoot round and see if I've missed anything. Sounds like it means business. Is that a very original looking Rover P6 we saw pulling in before? I thought it said 2,200, but I need to have my eyes tested. It says 2,000 on this one, on the badge on the back. So this is a pre-facelift car before they put the plastic grille on the front, and these look way nicer, I think. Very classy looking car, and still, in the grand scheme of things, relatively affordable. I like that old camping club transfer in the window. But yeah, these are still relatively affordable. This is a very original looking car, actually. Very similar construction to the Citroen DS. All those panels on bolt, even the roof on bolts. No, it's very nice. Still hear that GT40. Well, the E83W pickup's on its way. Let's get a bit of footage of that moving. You don't often see these driving around. Mgb GT is leaving. Beautiful car that is. That's what Harley wants after a standard 8. That's what he's after. Glorious big Healy. Temperature's starting to drop a bit now. There's that Elan Plus 2, lovely, lovely car in bright red. A bit of pre-war goodness over here. We've got a Wolseley Hornet. The Wolseley Hornet Saloon. You often see Wolseley Hornet specials at VSCC events. And this one popped up at the VSCC pub meeting the other evening. This one doesn't live too far away. Very small 6-cylinder engine in these. 6 light saloon bodywork. Suicide rear doors, i.e. rear hinged. A super duper original car. This sounds lovely, this does. Whenever I've heard this one driving along, it just sounds so nice. Probably benefits from regular use. You often see it out and about during the summer. A few cars heading off now. The Escort Cosworth, the Escort Rs Turbo, and an Mgb Roadster. Let me know in the comments which of these cars you'd want to be driving home. Nice doggy. Would you want the 1980s RS Turbo, 1990s RS Cosworth? Perhaps you want this Volvo FL6 or this Land Rover, or that yellow Beetle, the VW 1300, or one of these cracking tractors. We seem to get quite a few tractors here, which is good to see. Dub, 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 dub. We've got a Lance Bulldog here. Won't want to get your fingers in there. Alice Chalmers. Such a wild looking car, really. Well, we're starting to lose the light now. I think we've probably seen pretty much everything that's of interest here at this year's Whitchurch Motor Club Anything Goes Evening Rally. It's been a great turnout. There's been a huge number of cars here, including this glorious fixed head E-Type. And you can see the difference between, you saw the 2+2 before, which had the longer doors, higher roof, and that sort of chrome trim that went along there. That's the difference visually between a normal fixed head and the 2+2. That's a beautiful car. That is 1964. And the Jensen alongside it. Just before I finish, there's a few fast forwards tucked away over here. Let's focus over here. Two-door Escort. Very groovy looking Cortina. I think it's a Cortina GT Mark 1 1965 car. Fantastic. Yeah, there we go, there's a GT badge on the rear quarter. Great looking car, that is. Love those. There's one of those rear mounted lamps on the back, Lucas lamp. Base mounted, you'll note. I think I'll probably put one of those on the back of the Standard just to give it the look. Alongside that, Mark II Escort and a Capri Laser of 1985. Fantastic. Yeah, well, that's it, I think, for this year. Thanks very much for watching. Please check out some of the other classic car videos that are now on the channel. I think we'll be setting sail ourselves fairly soon before it gets too dark. And there'll be more videos along very, very soon, so bye for now.
Put your foot further down, they just go.